Welcome here from Berlin. We are here at the MotionLab in Berlin. Welcome to the event where we will connect China with Berlin in the mobility space. So what we will do today, 90 minutes full of content. We will hear corporate executives talk about what is possible in China and what they're actually interested in the mobility space in Germany. But we will also listen to Berlin startups talking about their dreams and why they want to work together with Chinese partners. It's 90 minutes full of content. I hope that you will have a great time. You can connect with us on all social media. We will also go live to China. So we're all saying hi to our Chinese partners there. There will be roundtables full of content, listening to actually what is the Chinese appetite in Berlin mobility startups. As said, we have all kinds of partners, so plug and play in China, but also the Berlin Business Liaison desk. And we'll go right to that because joining us here live from Berlin is Sabine Yang-Schmidt. She's going to talk with us about what this event is about and what actually concretely startups from Berlin, the mobility space, can do in China with the help of Chief Representative Sabine Yang-Schmidt. Welcome to the event. Enjoy yourself. Talk to you later.
Well, good morning and good afternoon from Berlin and China. I'm really glad to be here and to speak to you today on behalf of the Berlin Business Office in China, which is part of the Berlin Center Department for Economics and which helps to facilitate business between China and Berlin. I'm also very happy to see so many attendees here, and that really confirms great interest in creating more synergies for cooperation between Berlin and China. Today is a very good example of new cooperations, as our good partner and one of China's most renowned accelerators, Plug and Play, meets Berlin's platform for Asian Berlin Exchange, the AsiaBerlin platform here for startup exchanges, supported by Panch. So what is this event about? In a nutshell, it'll be about the future of mobility. It'll be about startups developing future technologies. It'll be about corporates sharing experiences and about the chance to build new connections between Berlin and China. Why have we chosen this topic about the future of innovation of mobility? That is actually for three good reasons Berlin and China mostly also have in common. So number one is we both have very clever and creative minds, innovative minds that design our future. So speaking for Berlin, for example, this amazing place here is known as one of Europe's biggest hubs for science and technology. And the German capital is very international, and particularly, or probably for these reasons, but not only, this is attracting a lot of startups, which makes Berlin the German startup capital. A very practical insight into Berlin's very creative tech solutions and startup environment is actually visible in where we are today here in the MotionLab. And this is a fantastic place that brings together a lot of innovative startup companies to create future solutions. Number two, one of Berlin's biggest and most active industry clusters, actually the mobility cluster here. Mobility, transport, and logistics cluster. And speaking for startups, Berlin's startups received more than 50% of all the German invested mobility capital over the last years. So we're also very happy to see many great speakers we have today. I'm very curious to listen to our roundtable discussion, which brings together also the corporates like China's Dongfeng Technology Center, and they're going to meet Vela Performance from Berlin. And for any details about the benefits of Berlin and China locations for mobility developments, please join us later in a breakout room. There'll be one which is called Market Entry Room, and this is where you can meet the experts from, let's say, Berlin, like Berlin Partner, the Business Development Agency, Plug and Play, and we'll be very happy to share more information about funding opportunities, business locations, and so on and so forth. So please join us in the breakout rooms. Number three is actually speaking for Berlin, what really helps on the grounds to accelerate the design of new trends and mobility. These are networks and connections. They're crucial. This is also the final purpose of today's event. To help you cross-connecting with some of China's and Berlin's experts in mobility. So the best way in Berlin to directly connect with mobility experts is actually through BCAN, which is the Berlin-China Automotive Network here. And this network is especially designed to connect Berlin and China's mobility businesses. So you'll find anything from corporates to small hidden champions in this network. I'm very, very, very proud of it. You can also meet BCAN and corporates later in the corporates breakout room. So please join us there. To sum it up, one of the secrets for Berlin's innovation power is certainly the design. To design the future of mobility is clearly about like the amount of talents we have here, the infrastructure to develop new ideas in the mobility cluster, including funds by Berlin's government, plus great opportunities to network. These are the three key success factors for Berlin's innovation, and we are very excited to open up our ecosystems today to China. So please make active use of the breakout rooms. I'm glad you joined this event today, and I hope we have fun and great exchange talks. Thank you very much, and yeah, good success to this event. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Sabine, for these very interesting insights. Now we know exactly what is happening in Germany when it comes to mobility trends. Before we go to a video of this lovely location where we're at, namely the MotionLab in Berlin, I want to introduce you to Aravinth Panch. He is actually the head of partnerships of the MotionLab here in Berlin. And to AsiaBerlin and to all the partners involved here, today he's a very important partner and also a go-to person when you have questions about MotionLab. But to introduce to you actually what is happening here year-round, we're going to watch a short video about the MotionLab in Berlin.
Welcome to MotionLab Berlin, an innovation hub for hard-tech entrepreneurs to go from idea to market all under one roof. It is a 4,500 square meter industrial facility hosting more than 50 startups and 450 members. MotionLab ecosystem is divided into 4 verticals: space, machines, training, and business. With the first vertical, MotionLab provides garage workshops of different sizes to startups to design, produce, and assemble their innovation in one place. Along with that space, clean office rooms and co-working spaces are also provided to the companies to manage their team as well as conduct business development. With this coexistence, entrepreneurs need not to move between their business office and production facility, thereby saving their valuable time. The second vertical is all about machines. Mobility innovation often come in large form factor with the complex electromechanical system which need to be manufactured. MotionLab makes it easier for startups to produce their first batch of their innovation with in-house industrial machines that can produce anything from plastic to metal. This is a crucial stage of a hardware startup there where they have to make a huge investment in time and money to go to production. Any mistakes can be deadly, and that's why it's called as Death Valley of hardware startups. And MotionLab helps startups to make informed decisions about their manufacturing process. The third vertical is about training. Even though there are in-house experts who can help with design and manufacturing the innovation, it is a very important learning step for the hardware startup founders to understand the complexities of manufacturing and design for manufacturing process. To fill this knowledge gap, MotionLab provides a wide variety of certified training programs from computer-aided design to computer-aided manufacturing. Last but not least, business vertical of MotionLab enables startups to transport their tech from idea to business by establishing partnerships with multi-stakeholders such as corporates, investors, mass manufacturers, and government initiatives. Apart from that, Imagine 2030 Mobility Accelerator based at MotionLab, funded by Berlin Senate to help early-stage mobility startups with anything from funds, training, prototyping, and business validation. If your innovation development needs to move faster than your imagination, MotionLab Berlin is the place to be.
So mobility trends are of course global. So whatever we do here in Germany also affects China, for example, and whatever happens in China, we are also in Europe, in Germany, here in Berlin, are affected by it. So we're super proud to actually have Plug and Play China as our partner, and they as well will introduce themselves through this video.
国一路出行。
所以我相信，今天25家最优秀的经过初轮、2轮筛选出来的项目，在众多的 anchor partner 的手里。
这样的企业进行合作，可以帮助我们去引进一些外部的创新的理念。
就是现在确实是一个换道超车的机会，确实有一个这么个机会窗口。在这里头呢，我想说的主要还是说，创新肯定是这也是我们实现这个换道超车最主要的路径。
我们需要关注整个产业边界的一个变化从边界的变化中进行到新的机会。
Three key principles for us. I would say the first one is user experience. The second one is we build out cooperation and ecosystem, and plug-and-play definitely plays a role there. And the last one is local. Coming back to the presentation of Professor Ma, the culture of the product.
The change is so rapid, and we have to be agile.
汽车行业来说，3线、4线、5线是接下去最大的市场。
大家好，我的名字叫潘建伟，高兴可以在这边跟大家分享。
大家好，我是来自一汽奔腾不明觉一创新工作室的严琦。
我相信全场的来宾是不是对这个我们将要路演的25家项目的这个预期达到了顶峰？那么我将不负众望，把接下来所有的时间交给我们这个25家创业团队。
我们从2011年就开始做这个 OT 的更新，从手机、平板到互联网，将要到整个这个汽车。
车有其车上的情感，在家庭，比如血压、血糖，心脏病，
寿命不是很好，或是会影响它的真正的功能。
So now we've seen two films of what both partners on the Berlin side and on the China side have to offer. But this today, of course, is a live event. So we're going to listen to actual persons talking with us about their respective roles. And we will start, of course, with China, with Charles Wang. He is the head of corporate innovation of the mobility team of Plug and Play China.
Hello, everyone. This is Charles Wang from PNP China Mobility Team, and it's been an honor. Very happy to join this event and introduce a little bit about China, the mobility trend, and also our practice. I think we are talking a lot about the mobility innovation recently, and I think that the trend is pretty. The trend is. Pretty unique in China. So we're thinking that the future right now is now, because the mobility is under a huge revolution at this moment. We're talking about based on the new energy, autonomous driving, and sharing economy. So the concept of the vehicle is changing from we used to build up a vehicle, and now people are more thinking about to buying or purchasing a service from the destination A to B in the future. And under the trend of digital, is pushed the boundary of the production and also the business model. And in China, you may know that there's more and more players outside of the industry are jumping to this area to manufacturing cars and sell with software, with UI, UX, or other concept to engage with their customers. And they are becoming very successful. Not only, you guys may know that Tesla is very, very successful in China, and besides Niro, Xiaopeng, and Vima, they are all making a very successful business. And in the future, within 2030, the millennial generations will becoming the dominant consumers in the market, and they are growing in China. They are growing under the age of mobile internet area. So what they are got the experience are facing, changing or pushing the OEMs or cars to be changed in the future. So those are all the challenges we are facing in China. That also means that the innovation opportunities. Here's some data we got from KPMG. The first one is mobility as service is coming. In 2030, it will reach to $1.4 trillion US, and China is also the leading market. And on the right side, consumers are changing. They are balancing or considering owning a car or maybe just buying a service in the future. So that will push a lot of change in China. So together with mobility, PNP Mobility China team and our corporate partners, we are thinking about 3 directions to making our innovation to facing this trend. First one is agility, which means that the corporate partners need to consider to using more and more new technologies, intelligence features to changing their internal infrastructure to facing this changing market. And the second one is with lots of this technology, how we're gonna make it profitable or consider which technology we're using with a good business model. And the last one is also very important about the customer centric. And before, I think not only in China, but also outside of China, all the car OEMs, they are really is a production focus, but now users are more and more important. So the customer centric is also very important. So under this trend, so what about our technology trend? So I think in China, the electrification, autonomous driving, connected vehicle, and the shared economy are widely recognized by all the players in this industry. We call it 4 modernizations. And there's lots of new technology popping up in these 4 areas. So PNP China mobility team, we are established a huge database, including China startups and worldwide startups, filling in all those technical tags just with this page. So not only in the mobility area, but also a lot of cross-vertical technology. So we're helping our corporate partners using this technology to adapting to the new change to how to building a smarter car by themselves. And another topic is about the ecosystem. So we're also thinking about with all the fundamental infrastructure technologies like big data, 5G, cloud computing, now is changing. So what will be in the future about the transportation, also the cities, and those are changing will be in fact how we're going to consider to build up a car right now. So together with our OEM partners, we are building up a much larger open innovation platform based on this concept. The vehicle, the car with insurance, with finance, with retail, real estate, supply chain, and healthcare, et cetera, with a bigger platform, we can create more scenario and more applications, which brings more opportunity for the startup, for the innovation. And also with all this practice, we really help lots of startups with their business. For example, the first one, I'll introduce ASU. They are, before they are only focused on the AR projector in the consumer electronic industry. They never knew they can do business with car OEM. So we introduced them to our partners at FAW. They not only just made a very successful POC with the smart track open features. After the 8 months, these features will becoming a really mass production features in one of FAW cars. So. one of the very successful cases. So we bring the startups outside of car mobile industry and connect with our corporate partners to make one POC and then make it production. And besides that, we have lots of other successful cases like the SenseTime. We can call them startup now because they are very, very huge. But before they met plug and play, their business is only focused on with their facial recognition, running on the camera to do some security. But after their POC with the Daimler, so now they are growing very, very big business in the automobile industry. We also bring many more university technology like this one with Fudan Daxue, their new material lab. So we bring their technology with Frisia, which is our one of our partners in France. They are using their new material with their Cs. And our superstar PowerShare, we introduced them to Alliance Ventures. They not only made a successful POC, and at last, Alliance Ventures gave the real investment on the PowerShare. So those are all the practice we did in the last 3-5 years. Where we really connect with startup and corporates and make them to grow their business. So PNP China right now in the last few years, we are growing a very large platform with not only many MNCs, OEM and tier ones, but also many more local brandings are joining our platform. So especially last year, we building a very strategic partners with DFM. So here with DFM, in Wuhan, we build up a very strong platform. So the platform fulfilled not only for the startup scouting, meetup, and POC mass production, and also with investment. So we can end-to-end to build up a platform to make startup successfully connect with the DFM plus all the other corporates on this platform. So now on this platform, we're really focusing on 3 innovation directions. Where the first one is about the technology upgrade in the short term. So based on our corporate tech interest, so we bring a suitable startup to hook up the POC, and we push the process to be a production, so that we can becoming more like not only in the concept, but also jump into the market wise. And the second one is about a cross-border integration. When we're talking about in the long term, what's the the innovation will be, what's the mobility will be changing. So we build up an open platform, so all the corporations and startups can jump into the corporate with a lot of topics, so we can discuss and talk together to identify the future scenarios and a lot of ideas, so that we can pilot those projects on the open platform. And the last one with lots of VC and CVC plug and play together. So when we identify the potential project, also startup, we can put investment so that we can have the closed loop to help this platform to grow. And not only the platform is not only with the mobility, so we also bring with other verticals that PNP are building in China, including IoT, supply chain, InsurTech, healthcare, travel, etc. So because in all those verticals, we have many other corporates and also the new technology altogether on this platform, so we can provide the value to government, other corporation, and also lots of startup altogether. And from this slide, we can see that there's a lot of the tech area pretty similar between China and Europe. For example, for the new car manufacturing and autonomous driving and transportation. And we're thinking that the open innovation is no boundaries. So I really want to take this chance to just introduce us, and maybe in the future we can bring more and more the excellent startup from Europe, from Germany to come to China to do the open innovation with our clients. Yeah, that's my introduction. Thank you.
And you're back in Berlin here in the MotionLab. Thank you so much, Charles Wang, Head of Corporate Innovation of the Mobility Team of Plug and Play China. And now we're going to listen to Berlin actually live here in the MotionLab is the CEO of Vela Performance, and his name is Andreas Puschel.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon to our participants in China. My name is Andreas Puschel, and I want to thank that I get the chance to introduce our company to that international audience. To give you some impression about what we are doing and where we are, I have prepared some slides I want to show you quickly. We are a company in Berlin located and in Bavaria of experts in research and design, mostly in the automotive business, to develop new products, new innovations, new vehicles. So what we are basically do, our slogan is from sketch to reality. So we develop complete systems, cars, from the basic idea to the final product to the market. For different customers, for startups as well as for OEMs, so we know both worlds, and that's why we can always find the efficient way from the idea to the product. We built in-house a lot of competencies coming from, of course, design, simulation, different calculations in the fields of new material, carbon structure, in the vehicle world, body, suspension, electric, EE, everything. So just to give you some impressions of what we do. So performance is our name, so that's why performance vehicles are also part of our scope. So you see here some examples with our customers, in the, especially in the sports cars field. So we have already good relationship to companies in China. So we developed for a new Chinese startup their sports car. You see Mr. Chen here on the picture above with his new vehicle entirely developed here in Berlin. You have the Roof CTR on the left side on the Geneva Auto Show, or the Kia K3S for the Chinese Touring Car Championship. On the very other side, we have the utility vehicles we developed, so that street sweeper machines, transportation cars, so a very wide range of different vehicles for different customers all over the world. And also, of course, the future mobility, electric vehicles we have developed in different kinds, so even for race cars, as for the American startup Lucid Air, or for Kercher, where we participate for the complete vehicle or for systems, whatever the customer likes. And also, so here you can see a wide range of different customers all over the world. And what I also want to show you quickly, that we also made our own thoughts about future mobility and designed products for the future. So you can here see that's a utility vehicle with a very flexible electric platform, which is very flexible in a wide range of size and weight, and you can use that for 3.5 to 7.5 tons with very different applications for many, many use cases. So we have already built the prototype here, which you can find in our workshop here in Berlin. And on the other hand, the future mobility needs a lot of last mile delivery. We need small electric vehicles for passenger transportation in the big cities. So also here we have developed a very cost-effective performance platform to help the future mobility, which has different requirements than that what we see on the roads today in the big cities. So we are also prepared for that. So this was a very quick introduction, and that's what we are doing as Vela Performance. I hope you could enjoy my little speak, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Andreas Puschel of Vela Performance. And now we'll go to China for a roundtable discussion. And of course, this is all being done in co-partnership. So the Berlin, we are here at MotionLab, but I have a lovely distinguished colleague in China who's going to lead the roundtable discussion. And she's City Innovation Director of Plug and Play China. And her name is Yuanyuan. Take it away.
Thank you, Derek. Hello, everyone. I'm Yuanyuan, City Innovation Director working at Plug and Play China. And I'm very happy that today that we could co-host this event with Berlin Business Listen, Desk China, AsiaBerlin, and Impact. Today for the panel session, we're very honored to have Mr. Andreas Puschel, CEO of Vela Performance, and also Dr. Bian, the smart software director at Dongfeng Tech Center, and Mr. Xiao Fan, investment promotion director of the Smart City from Wuhan Economic and Technical Development Zone, as our guest speaker today. Welcome. And for this session, we will invite our guests to talk on the potential opportunities for the mobility startups to collaborate with the big corporates, as well as the opportunities to participate the intelligent transportation construction in cities from the perspective of tech and service provider and big corporates, as well as the city planners. So just as Mr. Andreas introduced just now, Vela Performance is an excellent tech and service provider in Berlin, and they have successfully collaborated with many auto companies all over the world. So according to your experience, Mr. Andreas, what are the most popular areas in the mobility innovation from your observation, and what's your experience collaborating with those leading companies all over the world?
So what I would say is we find two different directions today, what is in development and what's the trend of technology. One thing is that we develop new systems for our vehicles, even for the current vehicles. That's for autonomous driving, that's the electric drivetrain, hydrogen drivetrain, things like that. So this technology will find its way in the current vehicles as well as in the future. The complete other direction is, and this is something we have to consider always, the mobility will completely change in future. So the business model we have, so the private use of cars, or everyone is using its car, especially when the autonomous driving will come to us, that will change. So what we need to do, or what will happen, is actually we need new kind of vehicles which do the different requirements for the people to last mile delivery, passenger transport in the cities. The business model will differ, and different vehicles will be necessary to do that job in future. Our participation is basically in both sides. So we in the development of the new systems which find the way in our current vehicles and everything. But as I said, those vehicles in future, that will maybe a shrinking market. And we look on the other side for the new platforms, for the new vehicles, which will support the future demands of transportation.
Thank you. Just as Andreas mentioned, actually, many leading companies are attaching great importance and priorities to mobility innovation. In China, it is the same case. As you know, Dongfeng Group is one of the leading auto companies in China, and they invested a lot of resources in mobility innovation every year. Actually, we're having this event offline right at the Dongfeng Tech Center. There are over 2,000 R&D experts working on the mobility innovation for Dongfeng. So, Dr. Bian, and could you please share with us what's your business, what's your innovation focus for Dongfeng in the next 5 years, and especially the tech focus on the open innovation, and how do you do the collaboration with external tech partners?
With the rapid development of the automotive technology, we are still facing actually safety, energy saving, recycling, and also comfort. So currently, Dongfeng is also aiming to produce light-weighting, electrical, intelligent, and connected vehicle, as well as this car also connected with to infrastructure, energy network, information network, and also financial network. In Chinese is 五车，五化归一车， it's 通四嘛. It's very simple, and maybe in English it's more complex. Of the other side, technology, I'm focusing on the intelligent connected technology. According to ITC, actually there are two technology roadmap. One is the evolutionary development automated driving technology, for example, according to SAE level 0, level 1, level 2, and level 3. And the other way is innovative. We direct research and develop the level 4, for example, autonomous driving, as colleague Andreas said. And for example, last year, Dongfeng Motor Corporation, supported by local government Wuhan, we have started a project named a program of Dongfeng pilots. In this project, totally investment of the Dongfeng and the local government is 600 million. In the next 2 years, we operate more than 200 robotaxi in local Wuhan and offer the intelligent transportation service in local Wuhan. And our perspective is we are aiming to accelerate the maturity of the autonomous driving technology and explore the right way for commercial application of the autonomous technology, and also based on rapid development and rapid iteration. It will be the most advanced technology and wider region of the operation, and also the most number of the vehicle, as well as the most device of the driving scenario. In the last month, we officially launched this program. At the moment, we provide more than 40 robotaxi and open to the public for free. A normal citizen can simply receive a robotaxi by a mobile app, and the ticket you just can take the normal taxi to experience the autonomous driving technology. Welcome to Wuhan to experience this high technology. Also, we are also very happy. More exchange and also cooperation with P&G as well.
Thank you, Dr. Bin. Actually, as Dr. Bin introduced the way, not only big corporates but also the tech providers, we are working on the mobility innovation to make the transportation and the travel more intelligent and more friendly to people. So actually, many city governments are working on the intelligent transportation all over the world, and thus bring lots of opportunities for the mobility innovation. And actually, Wuhan is well known in China as the Auto Valley of China. And in Wuhan, actually, it is home to not only Dongfeng, but also 7 other leading auto companies in China, as well as over 500 Tier 1 and Tier 2 companies. Government now is aiming to build a pilot project for the intelligent transportation. So Mr. Xiao, could you please introduce from the government's perspective, could you please introduce the intelligent transportation plan and your support on how to make the mobility innovation applied into this project? Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Plug and Play China. Distinguished guys, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Fan Kishan from local government, Director of Smart Eco City, which is a part of local government. And I'm in charge of the matters about intelligent connected vehicle on the behalf of WEZ government, local government and Smart Eco City. Please welcome to the conference, the future of mobility. As we know, China is the only country with a GDP growth rate among the world's major economies in 2020. And the China automotive industry is rapidly transforming and is the forefront of the world in terms of new energy vehicle, autonomous driving, and intelligent network technologies. And we are so lucky to witness a new round industrial advancement and technological revolution and the impact to the automobile. As I reflect on the theme of today's conference and answer the question, how we do the intelligent transportation here. In fact, we think intelligent transportation should have two crucial parts. One is a cooperative vehicle infrastructure system, and two, autonomous vehicle. We also simply say intelligent road and smart vehicle. For intelligent road, we have already spent 100 million euros to build testing roads. And those roads are real urban roads with refined cooperative vehicle infrastructure system. We call it service system. 5G, Beidou high positioning system, and sensing devices, and the vehicle-to-road communication system are fully covered and incorporated, making 106 kilometers urban roads be an ideal place for testing level 5 and more advanced driverless cars. Besides testing roads, we are building ICV closed test field with an area of 214 acres. It cost us 4.5 billion yuan, and it accommodates 14 functional areas, which includes city and country roads, highways, and virtual testing area, and the extreme condition area. Testing roads and closed test field are both very important for government to make standards on intelligent transportation. With approved standards, we can let the service system to put it into practice in a larger scale. For smart vehicles, over the past 6 months, we made great efforts with Dongfeng Group and other 5 Chinese IT companies, such as WeRide, Deep Road AI, AutoX, iDrive Plus, UC. There are more than 15 robotaxis for Wuhan municipal citizens can order on apps or online. And this year, we will build multiple things such as robobus, shuttle bus, sanitation cars, and many the delivery and so on. However, autonomous vehicles as modified cars are like of legitimate basis, and this year local government will legislate to solve the problem in the near future. For companies about city mobility, I think they can find what the real need here, because what we're doing now is making an ideal place for them test and R&D, and it's going to be free. Government investment on service system, spend money on different sites, provide third-party service, and so on. We just want to make it easier for companies, easy for them to grow up, easy for them to fund commercial things, even easy for them to IPO. And the WEZ government is determined to spare no efforts on ICV industry with Dongfeng Group and other related companies. We will give best policies, best funds, best place and we sincerely welcome and hope some German companies can join us on the journey to the future. In the future, David will be a real mobile city. People come to Wuhan, you can find different ICVs here, and very much convenient for people to travel around, but the challenging is the legislation and the enforcement of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Xiao. Sounds exciting, especially for the mobility startups. The local government really established a very friendly and promising environment for the mobility innovation. I believe when the technology innovators, big corporates, and the local governments really work together, we can drive the mobility innovation better and faster. And really look forward to the future collaboration between Germany and China. Thank you so much, and thank you all for your informative sharing. And if you have any further idea or questions, you may join the discussion with our guests at the end within the breakout room. Thank you so much, and let me give the floor back to Derek. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yuanyuan, the City Innovation Director of Plug and Play in China. This was so interesting, and I learned a lot actually from this debate. We'll continue now with some Berlin mobility startups, because we want to check, is there a bit of appetite from China also to dig into these trends? For this, we're going to the first startup. I hope they're already waiting for this opportunity to actually connect with China. Boreal Bikes. So Boreal Bikes is now the first one to pitch on this international stage here at the AsiaBerlin meetup about the future of mobility, live from the MotionLab in Berlin. Boreal Bikes, the floor is yours.
So, hello, I'm Yuanyuan, founder of Boreal Bikes. I'm here to talk to you about something that we've been working on for the past 5 years that has become especially relevant today in the context of increasing bike and e-bike ridership. While this has been a boom for the bike industry, urbanites, and of course the environment, as air quality improves in city centers, there's a flip side as we see something particularly alarming happening with growing popularity of bikes and e-bikes. We're also seeing a rise of road fatalities involving cyclists, even in traditionally bike-friendly cities in countries like the Netherlands and Berlin. While the number of road fatalities involving cars in the same period of time is trending downward. So the key question, what is making cars safer while bikes are not getting safer? The short answer is active safety. At Boreal Bikes, we believe that we are on the verge of eliminating road fatalities for cyclists through active safety. This could be potentially done in the next 5 years as the technology and the needed connectivity is here. In fact, ADAS, or Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, provide active safety for more and more trucks and cars today. They've become ubiquitous. These onboard systems are saving lives at this very moment for several road users. Consequently, the number of car fatalities have been falling. What is active safety? Active safety systems help avoid an accident from happening in the first place, while passive safety features are meant to soften the blow, so to speak. So active safety prevents the accident from happening, while passive safety reduces the potential harm of an accident. A bumper is a passive safety. A bike helmet is also passive safety. Ultrasonic sensors, cameras, and LiDARs on the vehicle are part of an active safety system. One acts before the fact, the other later. Since 2015, our focus has been on the development of an ADS for micromobility, working with researchers, scientists from around the world, so such system becomes a reality for cyclists and for all vulnerable users. Developing an active safety for cyclists is no easy task. We soon realized that we had numerous barriers to overcome. First, the cost of sensors and of embedded systems was prohibitive, making it impossible to produce an ADAS as a consumer product in the short term. We assumed the cost of components would eventually fall, making such a product possible. Second, the form factor is an issue. These components are now designed for cars and will have to be adapted for bikes by becoming smaller, more power efficient, and lightweight. Cities would benefit from our technology too, as we found out that more granular data captured by our ADAS could also be instrumental in building better infrastructure. Such a system could also help pave the road towards greater accessibility to mobility. As Europe's median age increases, accessibility to mobility will become an important issue. Accessibility will be one of the driving factors that will allow connective and autonomous technologies to be translated to active modalities that are safer, more personalized, while having a noticeably smaller environmental footprint. We are now working with several stakeholders and strategic partners that include research institutes, telcos, transport authorities, standardization organizations, and universities that share the same vision of connected road safety for micromobility. We are now part of Europe's better funded and most important connected mobility research projects. We are providing our expertise and our newly redesigned connected bike to the 7.7 million euro smart city project of Ingolstadt, Save Now. Audi is a partner. We're also a consortium member of the 1.6 million euro Bike to CAV project in Austria. Catch Trafficcom is a partner. Leadership is driven by myself and my CTO, Alessandro Valero, an expert embedded systems who has published 21 peer-reviewed papers on the subject. We think it is now time to start working on the connected hardware. We are now looking for partners who can complement our skills and bring in the needed resources to help us develop micromobility, connected components, and smart consumer products that will make our vision of zero road fatalities a reality. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And actually, we're all grooving here in the MotionLab in Berlin because of those pitches of startups. They're so exciting, and we're really happy to hear also feedback. So use the hashtag AsiaBerlin, for example, if you're watching this live stream. Now we quickly go over to Kopernikus Automotive.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tim. I'm one of the founders of Kopernikus Automotive. We're a member of MotionLab and a proud alumni of the Startup Autobahn plug-and-play accelerator in Stuttgart and the Mobility Accelerator in Silicon Valley. Our topic is automated valet parking, or AVP Type 2, and I'll explain that in a little bit, for car logistics and automated parking, and all of that powered by artificial intelligence. So that was a lot of buzzwords. Let's get into the situation. What we are seeing is it's 2021, and right now there are no autonomous cars on the road. Yes, there are prototypes, and yes, there are the first trials out there. But today's cars and what the traditional car manufacturers are producing right now are cars that don't have the hardware on board for autonomous driving. And it is actually still quite expensive in the bill of material to increase this to a level 4 and level 5 cars. Additionally, there's another thing. Car manufacturers are under huge pressure in production cost. And they need to figure out new revenue streams. So they're under pressure on the revenue side, and they're under pressure on the cost side. So what we have developed is a system called Automated Valet Parking Type 2, which is it's basically a self-driving car stack, but it's not equipping the car, it's equipping the infrastructure. And that means we equip factories, we equip car parks. And how does it work? So we have a perception and a map and a path planning. All of that happens in permanently installed infrastructure. And then we only send, as if it was an RV car, a trajectory to the car. This lowers the cost because for manufacturers, for example, in the production area, because you don't need any human drivers anymore. And it gives the possibility for future revenue streams for valet parking. We have, as I said, an AI-based system. We rely, for 95% of all of the situations, rely on proven low-cost sensors, which is a camera. You see the picture of a Hikvision camera on the left. And the good thing of using pictures or vision-based system combined with artificial intelligence is we understand what we're seeing. We not only see something, we know exactly what it is. And on the right-hand side, you see actually the car from our project with Porsche. It is adaptable to most modern cars, most use cases or weather conditions, and it's very, very cost efficient and easy to deploy. The evolution of this is that we see right now this is going to happen in production. And we are convinced that in 2022, we'll have the first factories actually driving cars autonomously from the production line using our system. it'll expand into transport, it'll expand into repair, and ultimately into parking. And we see for ourselves that parking is the end game, because this is something where you can actually generate not only additional revenues, and we've put the numbers here for the US market, but it is actually a valuable consumer feature, and it helps parking operators and city operators to increase the efficiency of the parking structure, so getting more cars off the road. As a conclusion is automated valet parking might sound surprising to people that think about full autonomy, but it can drive today's cars without any modification and with a few dollars per car. And I mean a few dollars per car, not a few hundred, not a few thousand. I mean a few dollars per car, because it's a software update that can steer the car, because most of the cars come with a drive-by-wire system. It instantly saves it instantly saves cost in production and in logistics. So it pays for itself already in production. It instantly adds value to end consumers, and it increases the efficiency of parking structures, because you can just simply park more cars in the parking structures. So AVP is getting ready, and it's here to stay. And we are interested to discuss this with car manufacturers. We're talking to currently 8 of the 10 largest car manufacturers. We have not so much access in China so far, so we're really, really eager to discuss this, because this is not only a system in itself, but since it is a perception-based system that sees the environment, it will also in the future be collaborating with full self-driving level 4, level 5 cars and giving them added information of the environment. That was all about Kopernikus. If you want to talk AVP, please drop me a line. Here are my contact details. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Kopernikus. Awesome pitch, and we're really happy that you are here today. We're almost there, like 5 startups in total who are going to pitch, and the third one is Pant Health. So give it up, guys. Give it your best. Try to persuade everybody who's now tuning in to this live stream.
Okay. Hello, everybody. We are Pant Health. I'm Farzad Vesali, and I would like to introduce the concept of predictive maintenance proposed by Pant Health for railway industry. Here, just wait a minute. Yeah. You might hear this sound that, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the train to Essen has 50 minutes delay because of technical problem. It is interesting to know that more than 10 million euro per day only in Germany just for the maintenance of rail infrastructure is paying, and still 30% of trains had delay in 2018 because the maintenance action are performing either so early or too late. The fact is that the train travel demand is increasing more and more, and infrastructures are getting older and older. And the solution is predicting the best time and type of maintenance action. This solution seems so obvious, but it's not easy to deploy because it needs a gigantic amount of data. And to solve that, we are proposing a data-driven approach, including 2 standalone products. Our data collector is a hardware and sensors installed on thousands of trains and collecting data from them. And our data generator is a simulation software which can simulate a train and infrastructure based on mathematical model, and we can generate data. In next step, our analysis chef that process the data with machine learning, and at the end, the output will be live report plus maintenance plan for both infrastructure manager and train operators. Okay, why should the customer use our early stage products? Regarding our data hunter, I mean our sensors, the infrastructure manager can reduce the cost of the maintenance by 20%. It means 10,000 euro per kilometer per year. In addition to that, the penalty cost because of delay will be reduced up to 18%. And about our simulation platform, I can say right now only some universities and research institutes are providing this simulation as a service, but by using our Okay, yeah, and about our simulation software, our customer can reduce 2,000 euro per simulation by reducing the cost and effort of inserting data and analyzing the outputs. Here is our USPs in the predictive maintenance market of rail industry. We are the only one who are using the synthetic data generators, and in addition, we have our patented technique to collect data from any moving part of the trains. Here's our market cap, 7.3 billion euro per year is the whole cost of the predictive maintenance in rail industry, the market of predictive maintenance in rail industry, and our serviceable available market would be just the catenary and pantograph share of the market, which is 1.2 billion euro per year. And our targeted market is 91 million euro per year, which is the 30% of EU catenary. Here's our revenue trend. As I said, we have two standalone products with different revenues. Our predictive maintenance plan, will be a start on September 2021, and our first predictive maintenance report will be generated on March 2023, based on collected data from both early stage products. Here's our roadmap. We have started with the use case of pantograph and catenary system. We have been accepted in Imagine 2013 Mobility Accelerator on February 2020. Then we got our first contract with DBNets for simulation. Later we got the second grant from EU on September 2020. And later on, we have been selected as a top 3 startup. You can switch your video on. Okay. And yeah, we have been selected as top 3 startup in DBNets challenge. And now we are looking for both investment and pilot projects. I am Farzad Vesali, the CEO of the team, and I am PhD in railway engineering. Mortaza is our technical officer, and Mina is our operation officer. She's a PhD student in energy and environment engineering, and Amir is our technical manager. We are supported with a wide range of advisory board. Thank you. I will wait for your comments in the panel.
Thank you so much. Super exciting stuff you have going on there. Just a quick heads up, because after the pitches, we're going to have a Q&A session. So already think about what kind of questions you would like to ask to our pitching startups. And now we're going to the 4th one in a row, and that is Swobbee. And I'm very curious to learn more about this startup. Swobbee, go ahead.
Welcome to the world of Swobbee. I would like to introduce you what we are doing and why we are doing it. First of all, we want to become the gas station for micromobility. And our idea is pretty clear and simple. Let's say for you guys, when you see it, we can charge on 1 square meter up to 30 batteries for micromobility. Currently, we're offering 2 business models. The one is battery as a service, where we rent out the battery and offer the full service, charging, maintaining, and monitoring batteries, but also charging as a service, where we take and charge the batteries of our customers. In dense cities, we are convinced that a smart infrastructure for charging will be inevitable to fuel that future mobility. We see that by 2025, the market for light electric vehicles in sharing, last mile logistics, but also in the private sector, will reach over $60 billion. And that's why we are doing our business. First of all, we are currently focusing on following groups. It's the sharing providers, but last mile delivery. And in the end, we are already also delivering our product to communes, utilities, and in 2 years, we want to be ready for the private customers for the B2C market. We have started charging for DOT. This is one of the top 3 sharing operators from Europe. And we could show that currently we can cut their costs, the charging costs, up to 40%, and we'll increase it as soon as we switch to customer swapping. In last mile logistics, we could win several pilots together with DHL Express, Hermes, DPD, and this journey continues on. Currently, we are testing with Amazon in London. Why actually should people use battery swapping, or companies should use it? First of all, you have your vehicle after less than 1 minute on the street again, so it increases drastically the charge of the charging times. It will be reduced, but the uptime of the vehicle increases dramatically. You don't need a warehouse. Instead of this, you're using our network. We are cost saving. We could show this that especially if you are using the battery as a service product from us, you are not investing in batteries, but more or less in your operations. We are safe as there are new regulations for charging and storing batteries. We are complying with those in Europe, but also in other regions of the world. And we offer cities digital signage possibilities so they can display information for the citizens or simply sell the space for advertisement. And last but not least, we are an open system. So for now, we have designed in more than 7 different kind of batteries. We offer the hardware, but also our software solution that contains station management and battery management, where we control remotely whole stations. We have a deep insight into each battery, and for the end customer, we are offering the app where the swappers can use our service. Currently, as I said, 7 batteries are already integrated. We are already working with Chinese companies such as Okai and Segway 9bot, and with those 2 types of batteries, we cover 70% of the current scooter sharing market in Europe. And just to emphasize, we are integrating new batteries is pretty easy for us. It's our daily bread and butter, let's say. In more or less 3 to 6 months, we can be on the street with a new battery type. But thinking the battery as a service contains a really, really bigger picture. We are collecting data from all those batteries. So already thousands of batteries in the fields we are gathering data from and can use them for optimization of processes, but also for optimization of a second life of battery. All those stations rolled out can be used as energy storage. So we would like to introduce grid and energy services in less than 3 years. Just to give you an idea, 42% of the energy in Germany are coming from renewables. And on sunny and windy days, 80% of this energy is going somewhere else. Germany is paying other countries to take the energy that we're generating from renewables. So we could use our station as storage. Last but not least, there are millions of portable batteries from light electric vehicles coming back into the market. So we want to bring those raw materials into circular economy. Currently, we've rolled out 40 stations in Europe. Most of them are located in Germany, but also in Netherlands with DHL Express, PostNL, and in London we are operating for Amazon, but also for micromobility company. We will announce that pretty soon. I could say stay tuned, follow us on LinkedIn. We will announce that we are operating for one of the biggest micromobility companies in the world, our first stations. The plan foresees that we'll roll out 230 stations this year, but this is simple math. As more money we get, the faster we can roll out. And this is my founders team. We've been followed and backed by a family office led by Dr. Christian Speidel. He's a serial entrepreneur. made several 9-digit exits, and he's supporting us. Now we have kicked off our A round, already have promising partners on board. And if you guys feel like you would like to invest in a sustainable and let's say hardware and software company, feel free to contact me later on in the breakout room. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Swobbee, for this. And we already arrived at the final stage of the startup pitches. And now we're going to watch a video. The video actually is being shown by Ono. And if you look behind me, actually this is an Ono. So it's an emission-free vehicle for urban logistics mobility. So enjoy the film, and after this, we will continue with your questions and answers.
Good morning, my name is Vieran from Ono, and today I'm here to tell you how we seek to create and inspire transformative change in urban mobility. So before I deep dive into the problem we're solving and our solution, I want to introduce you to our team. We're a 40-plus strong group of talented people, notably co-founded by Murat Günak, former head designer of the Volkswagen Group, and Beres and Philip, who are serial eco-entrepreneurs. We're in the area of mobility, and the problem we're solving is maybe not the funnest or the sexiest, but by far one of the most important. Most of us today order more and more online, and while the speed and the convenience is way better, this picture is what's happening in every city center in Europe and around the world. Traffic congestion and more of these bulky diesel vehicles. And as some of you might know, last mile delivery accounts for over 50% of the cost and unpredictability of the whole logistics chain. On top of that, with the emissions bans that are happening all over the world and the newly found momentum created by COVID, now is the right time for this kind of solution. So what we've created is a new category of electric vehicles that has the best of both worlds. It's also and legally an e-bike, which means it has the flexibility and the benefits of an e-bike, but also the capacity and the reliability of a larger transporter van. So there are many benefits to the Ono, but today we only have time for two. One for the driver is that we have the best-in-class weather protection and safety. And for operators, we have best-in-class cargo capacity with these modules that you can remove and actually do multiple applications within seconds. So how big is our market? Well, we see it considerable. In Europe alone, in the next 5 years, we're going to have over 500,000 new delivery vehicles delivered. In North America, roughly the same amount, and in Asia, double that. Our business model is nothing outside the box. We co-developed this vehicle with multiple operators, and they preferred to lease the units. So we created a similar type service with additional benefits, which at the end of the day also saves them 20% on operational costs. Where we are right now, we've actually raised our Series A last summer. We're doing low volume production since last November and have converted over 80% of our pilot customers into paying customers. And lastly, Ono is not a one-off product. It's conceived as a platform, and what we want to do is create multiple applications and uses, but also eventually even transport people. That's my time for today. Happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
So welcome back here in the MotionLab in Berlin. Now here sitting actually in a Ono vehicle, and it's time for our questions and answer sessions. So the first question actually comes from me, like Swobbee, very interesting pitch, but what kind of technology do you exactly use to maybe convince even the Chinese investors to go on board with you? Also in China, if you have any questions, after this one, after Swobbee, we'll come over to you. And we're very, very actually happy that you are there in such a great number, like 300 people there in China watching the live stream here from Berlin. And we're so happy also that you are involved. So looking forward to your questions, but first to Swobbee. a little bit more about your technology.
Yeah. So first of all, we've created a modular swapping station where we can exchange compartments really fast. As there is no standard for batteries, we have standardized our backplane, and we have for each kind of battery that is coming with high volumes a special compartment that can be swapped within less than 1 minute. So we can adapt our stations to a need of a city, to a need of a sharing provider, or a last mile company. The whole system is based on Amazon Web Services, so we can scale really fast. And we have developed our own chargers and controlling units. The charger is a highly efficient DC charger that is bidirectional. We have developed it together with a company that is actually doing DC parts for Porsche, Audi, and so on. So we are very proud of that we have that in our hands, the hardware part. And all the IoT is pretty much standardized. Let's say we don't use our own developed IoT device, because that is you can take off the shelf, and we do that to decrease our costs. But the main thing is our multi-modularity that is patented, the bidirectional charger, the platform that we are getting from AWS, and our controller units that help us to adapt to a battery really fast. Actually, to get the right data from the battery, it takes us 2 weeks or something like that. The biggest part, our biggest challenge right now is actually the manufacturing. And I think in China, we have a lot of companies that would team up with us and taking over the part of manufacturing our machines.
So the next question actually came through the chat. So thank you so much for this. It's for Pant Health. And the question says, does it sign agreements with system operators? So do you sign the agreements with the system operators in collecting the data, Pant Health?
Actually, I can say yes. It's a really a tricky point, because you are collecting data from a trains which is not owning the infrastructure in some countries, for example, here in Germany. And we are looking for really great agreement with train operators to collect data, because in this case, they will be more motivated to install our hardware. For example, here in Germany, we are thinking to consider a share of our benefit in predictive maintenance on for the operators as well. It means they just install the hardware, and the hardware will collect data and make benefit for them. Look like mining Bitcoins, if I want to have some example.
Actually, I would love to hear more about all the startups and go into the discussions. But for this, actually, we have to break out rooms. But I will come to this later. So I'm really happy to see if China now is also involved in the question and answering. My colleague Rebecca Xie of the Plug and Play China Center, you're also there gathering all the questions. So very happy to give over to you, to China.
Hi, we received a question for Pant Health. So elaborate on who's your target clients and what's the business model?
I can say the target client will be both infrastructure manager and maintenance providers. It depends on the rail infrastructure and rail structure of different countries. For example, in Belgium, the infrastructure manager are responsible for maintaining the infrastructure. But in some other country, the smaller maintenance provider. So the client would be either maintenance provider or infrastructure manager. And our product, the predictive maintenance, our final product will go to them.
Thank you very much. We have another question for Uno. So how many Uno cars has been produced and sold so far?
So far, we are in the around in the low 60s that are on the roads right now.
Got it. And another one is, do you need a special license to drive the car?
No, you don't. And actually, that's one of the USPs. We can't explain them all in a 3-minute pitch, but it actually has many of the benefits of an e-bike, which means that you can actually, in a lot of cities, circulate on bike lanes. You can drive without a driver's license. We encourage or strongly encourage our specialized training. And so the quick answer is no, we don't need a special license, and it can be driven by a lot more of a pool of drivers, which solves the problem of driver turnover that is very present in logistics.
Yeah, I have a question for the Boreal bikes. I see that you would need to gather and analyze data to achieve the V2X. Does that mean that you need to partner with local like public transportation department and companies to access the data?
So right now we're working with an Austrian project that's led by the Austrian Institute of Technology, AIT, and we're working with different types of messaging that works with the V2X and CV2X. So there's so this is all according to the ITS G5 standard. So we are working with collaborative awareness messages and collaborative perceptual messages. So yeah, so we're in the aspect that the bike right now is not really part of the CAM or the CPMs or the ITS G5, meaning it's a VRU, a vulnerable road user. So it's not requested or demanded to send messages on intelligent transport systems, while all the other vehicles should, all the different other class of vehicles. But we're making the argument, and that's what we're doing, seeing in the test, that the validity of working of including the bike as an active member of an intelligent transport system, not just a VRU. And so that's one of the aspects of it. So we think that if the bike becomes data rich, what we're verifying, if a bike is a more data rich participant to an intelligent transport system, there will be benefits for the other road users, especially cyclists, for other vehicle types, light electric vehicle types that are taking a greater role. And it will be also for more sustainable mobility, like Ono, for example, could benefit from the advantages of an intelligent transport system. And these benefits of this wouldn't be reserved just to cars or autonomous vehicles or CAVs or trucks, the other classes. So yeah, that's our primary focus right now.
Thank you very much. I know time is limited, but we have another one from Dongfeng here. If you are on, could you please click on the translator and then select the English channel because our guest is gonna speak in Chinese.
Hi.
中文就可以。
中文就可以。好。
It's a question for Uno.
你们在中国的商业模式将会是怎么样的？在中国已经有很便宜的电动车了，你们如何保证你们的产品在中国具有竞争力？如何保证资本市场会看好你们在中国的潜力？
Thank you for the question, and I can attest that the translation service works properly. So yes, what we have done so far, and I think that is a bit different in the cargo bike industry, is that we've teamed up with a tier 1 automotive partner with international legs, which allows us to manufacture at a much bigger scale if, of course, demand is there. So at this moment and at our current production, I mentioned our numbers earlier, our current production costs were a bit too elevated to compete with directly right now with the Chinese products. But our goal is once we do achieve the volume, we have our production sold out almost until the end of the year here in Europe. So once we do cross that milestone, we do have ambitious plans once we are more cost competitive in China. And to answer your second question, or your rather first question about business model, The truth is we still haven't mapped one, and we were actually hoping with partners and investors to look at that. What we're offering here in Europe is we allow regular purchasing, but since one of our top priorities is quality and reliability, and one of the things that we've really worked on has been maintenance and service. So in the cities that we are launching, we're launching with a service infrastructure that we developed ourselves, which we plan to scale to other markets. But I would be happy to elaborate more on that in the breakout rooms. And yes, and thank you for your question. And I will just add one last thing. A big shout out and thank you to the MotionLab team, who actually, for all our Chinese friends, a lot of us already know each other. We already collaborate with Swobbee for our battery swapping and have multiple exchanges with the other startups present. So that's one of the magics of MotionLab. So I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
And I can also imagine that you're really hoping once Corona, the situation here in Europe, here in Berlin is over, that you can actually come back to the office and meet all the wonderful people here. So, but thank you for the compliment for the ecosystem. We've heard this. So we're almost ready for the breakout sessions, but before I'm going to give you a couple of service announcements. And the first one is that our big main event of the AsiaBerlin Summit in October, on the 4th of October, is of course going to take place. Online for sure, maybe even offline, a hybrid event, we don't really know, but you can already sign up now for this 4th of October in this year. And to give you a little bit of teaser of what is going to happen, we'll now show you this video about the AsiaBerlin Summit this year on the 4th of October, and you can already register right now.
One element which is also changing the world is Asia. 60% of the world population is living in Asia. It's young, it wants to grow, and we need to bring actually Europe and Asia together to be able to help each other. And I think that actually the AsiaBerlin Summit is perfect for that, because even in times of COVID, we have to come closer together to help each other rather than being apart.
I am therefore pleased to be able to welcome you here today to the AsiaBerlin Summit, one of the rare physical meetings this year connecting Asia to Europe.
Berlin has lots of talent from different spaces, so both from the B2C, B2B space, and overall it doesn't only go for Berlin, but that goes for the entirety of Germany and also Europe, is that we really have manufacturing and industrial companies as the lifeblood of our economies. We believe that there is so much potential for B2B to be the next wave of disruption in startups. So that's why I think Berlin is really a great place to come to if you are founding and starting a company.
So I didn't afraid of Berlin because I see the government is doing a lot of things to connect with China, right? So I got a lot of help, and also I get to a lot more connections here. So I think for China, it's like if you have the right connector, if you know the right person, you shouldn't be afraid of it, because we are trying to facilitate everything we know about China to help you with the business.
Also, I think it's a good way to, especially for startups who may be not able to really travel far, even if there's no pandemic, it's a good way to really virtually connect. And I think we heard in the morning that many of those startups are getting funding happening during this COVID time. So even though there's a little bit more due diligence that you need to do, it's the only way forward at the moment. So it's a great format.
Something around 3,000 connections have been formed with people that have been networking together. And I hope that then in the next year we can take this good component and at the people back in that are here at hand, and then I think it can be really a wonderful place to be.
So before we start with the breakout sessions, I will give you a little trick, because officially for the main event in October, the registration hasn't opened yet. But we have another event coming up on the 30th of March. And we're going to talk with startup insiders from Berlin, Jakarta, Singapore, and Bangalore as part of an NPACT event. And if you register there, we will make sure that you will also get the invitation for the 4th of October. So you can now actually register for this event on the 30th of March and then come into the system in our network and also join the event on the 4th of October. So now it's time, as said, for the breakout sessions. It's very important for you to know that in the main room, we will have the corporate innovation topic there. And in the other rooms are the startups, and we're also going to talk about market entry. So, of course, this event was made possible by the Berlin Business Liaison Desk. Chief Representative Sabine Yang-Schmidt is there, of course, by Plug and Play in China and the AsiaBerlin network. We're so happy that you joined, and see you next time, and happy networking in the breakout rooms. See you. Bye.